All right, we'll be getting started shortly. What do we have in so far? Connor and Retro, welcome. Hey guys, what's going on? What's going on? Just gonna make sure everything's set up. Welcome back, Connor. Welcome back, Retro. Welcome back, Simon. All right, are you guys ready? Hey, Javier, welcome, welcome. Extreme new outfit. I'm wearing the same thing I wore earlier, I think. All right. We're going to go ahead and get it started. We're going to play Guess That Sport. The first person to correctly guess this sport. The last round for the day. Awesome. Thanks for joining. The first person to guess this sport will get a point on the scoreboard. This sport is often played on the beach with a net and two teams and a ball that they have to hit back and forth. The teams are of 6 players each. Each team may hit the ball 3 times before they have to return it to the other side. Volleyball is correct. Point for you, Retro Frog. Retro Frog, welcome to the scoreboard. As a returning champion, you are entered in as red. Moving on to another round of Guess That Sport. The first person to correctly guess this sport will get a point on the scoreboard. All right. You need to have focus. You need to have very good aim. The equipment used in this sport was once used for hunting. Oh, thanks, Connor. That would be a lot, though, for right now, where we're currently at. Robin Hood was very skilled at this activity. Archery is correct. That is a point for Javier. Oh, Javier, welcome to the scoreboard. Moving on to another round of Guess That Sport. The first person to correctly guess this sport will get a point on the scoreboard. All right, you have to have really good balance for this sport. Speed is typically a factor. It's an extremely popular street sport. However, there's many signs telling people not to do this. Hey, Tony, welcome to the live game show where I host and keep score. You play by commenting. We're playing Guess That Sport. The more spins and turns, the more points. The more points I'm practiced on a U-shaped ramp. Skateboard is correct. That's a point for Retro Frog. Hey, M&H, welcome back. Retro Frog, you're the first person on my screen to say skateboard. You're at 2 points. Moving on to another round of Guess That Sport. A life jacket is usually worn in this sport. You need a paddle. It's usually a team sport. You need to have good coordination. It's a water sport. It's a fun and adventurous activity. It's not swimming. You need a raft, a paddle, and a life jacket. White water blank. Rafting would be correct. Rafting. A lot of things you guys said were, hey, James M., welcome back. Rafting was the correct answer, though a lot of you guys pretty much had it, though, but there are slight differences in what you guys were saying. Wow, Javier, I put archery, your answer, instead of Javier on the scoreboard. My apologies. Let me re-welcome to the scoreboard. Let me fix that. A little sick and tired today, but we keep going because games are fun. I've gone white water rafting before. It was pretty fun. I didn't see it, so I went to go ahead your second point. Continuing on, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Continuing on to another round of Guess That Sport. The first person to correctly guess this sport will get a point on the scoreboard. Each team is made up of 7 players. You need a ball. It can be played indoor or outdoor. A match has 2 30-minute periods. The players are not allowed to kick the ball. The buzzwords are court, throw, and ball. Handball is correct. That is a point for Simon D. Simon, welcome to the scoreboard. As a returning champion, you are entered in as red. Moving on to another round. Oh, technical difficulty, sorry. Remember me answering that first. You got it. Moving on to another round. I have 2 words in my name. I originated as a form of water rugby. Players must use only one hand. It's played in a swimming pool indoors. It's played on a team. You have to throw the ball. Polo, water polo is correct. I would have accepted. Well, polo is slightly different, but polo is there's another game in here called polo, but it's played on horses. Javier, you get it. What is that? I honestly have never. I forgot to look it up after last time, but I've never even seen this. I'm not familiar with water polo. I've never heard of it either. I don't know if I would like it. I'm kind of short, so I don't think I would do very good at water polo. I'd just be drowning while everyone else is just throwing the ball over my head. Moving on to another round of Guess That Sport. The first person to correctly guess what sport this is will get a point on the scoreboard. Marco Polo. Oh, man. I am an adventure water sport. You can play it by yourself or you can play it on a team. The wind is a huge factor on this sport. My equipment is also a mode of transportation. Sailing is correct. It's a point for Javier. Moving on to another round of Guess That Sport. The first person to correctly guess this sport will get a point on the scoreboard. This can be played by yourself or on a team. It's always played inside. I've never seen it played outside, at least. I am played with a large and heavy ball. Have a good one, Simon. I am also known as 10 pins. Connor, when you say 1.2, do you mean meters? Bowling is correct. So that's a point for Javier. M&A True, a close second. Javier, you're at 5. Moving on to another round of Guess That Sport. The first person to correctly guess this sport will get a point on the scoreboard. I am played by 2 teams of 15 players each. This is played outdoors. Passing and tackling are common actions in this sport. I am played with an oval-shaped ball. It is not football. You need to have speed. You need to have strength. Rugby is correct. One of the hints was a rugby ball, but I felt like if I gave that hint away, I'd just be giving the answer away. It's a point for Javier. Yeah. For example, This one's going to be super fast. This sport is played with a basketball. That's the only hint I'm going to give for the next round of Guess That Sport. Wow. Retro Javier, thanks, soccer. Look at that. Retro Frog got the point. I don't know who made this game, but some of these hints are just the answer. Guys are goofy. All right, moving on to an actual round of Guess That Sport, but you still get the point for that retro. I'm often practiced by people at the gym. This is single player. Heavy equipment is required for this sport. You need balance, strength, and muscle. The color of my equipment indicates its weight, usually. Weightlifting is right. All right, this is moving on to another round of Guess That Sport. You need to have balance. You come to the beach to enjoy this sport. In this sport, athletes balance themselves on a flat board. Waves have a major influence on this sport. Surfing would be correct. That is a point for Retro Frog. All right, we're going to switch the game for a little bit. We're going to play, I forgot the name of this. We're going to play Taboo. Similar to Password, but a lot more lenient. The first person to guess what I am describing will get a point on the scoreboard. You use this to clean up some stuff on a floor. Witches also have one of these. They can be made out of many different materials attached to a stick. It's not a mop. It's a broom. That's a point for retro. It's really funny to imagine a witch on a mop. I know you probably said it before you heard that, but that's just kind of a witch flying around on a mop with just water dripping everywhere. Moving on to another round of Taboo. This is a type of singing. All these are one words. Witch on a budget. Hard working witch. This is a type of singing that's done on a stage. There's a movie called Phantom of the Blank. Yes. Oprah is Javier gets the point for Oprah. There is Phantom of the Oprah done on a stage. Opera is the correct spelling, but Oprah works. We allow typos. I meant opera, I'm sure. Oh, this is what it's called when you are scared of small spaces. If you were in a very small cave or room or kind of stuck in a small space, this is the phobia associated with it. Claustrophobia is correct. That is a point for retro. Connor, you were a close second. Ooh, moving on to another round of Taboo. The first person to correctly guess this word will get a point on the scoreboard. This is what it's called when you steal somebody else's writing and claim it as your own, especially for academic. Hey, Crazy Vlogs, welcome back. This is what it's called when you steal somebody's writing or copy their writing and claim it as your own. Plagiarism is correct as a point for Retro Frog. Moving on to another round. First person to guess this word will get a point on the scoreboard. I hashtagged you in my short. I have, what do you mean, Crazy Vlogs? Oh, did you tag me in your short? Oh, did you tag me in your short? Sorry, dude. I'm old and not caught up with the lingo. I spend most of my time sitting in my room reading and writing. As much as I do. I think you meant, or I think you meant like sorry, I'm a little sick and tired today. Yes, thank you, Crazy Vlogs. I appreciate that. I'll have to go check it out later. Moving on to another round of Taboo. I'm hoping to feel better tomorrow, but I'm still doing this is the second stream. I'm still doing another stream today after this one. Moving on to another round of Taboo. First person to correctly guess this word will get a point on the scoreboard. Thanks again, Crazy Vlogs. All right. Ooh, this is a 2 words. This is a dissolvable candy in many different flavors that is a very colorful thing. It comes usually on a cone and it's huge, but there's not a lot to it. Cotton candy would be correct. Another point for you, Retro Frog. Moving on to another round of Taboo. All right, this is a game. This is a game played with everyone has their own sheets of numbers, and this is completely at chance. A caller calls a random number out, usually from a ball. And once you get 5 in a row, yes, you yell bingo. That's a point for Javier. This is one of the most well-played sports in the entire world, but the U.S. calls it something different, and this is the U.S. term for football. Soccer would be correct as a point for Retro Frog. You're at 9. All right, we're going to move on. We're going to play Battleship. Do not start your guesses yet. You guys cannot start your guesses until you hear the ding, ding, ding. How Battleship works is you guys are guessing where I hid my battleships. On my battleship board, I have a 10 by 10 grid. How you guess is you pair a letter with a number. There are 10 rows and 10 columns. The rows are lettered. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J is the last letter. The columns are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you must pair a letter with a number. For example, you could say A1 or J10. Yeah, Connor, we'll do some balloon art after. We'll do Guess That Balloon after the battleship. So you must pair a number with a letter. You're allowed as many guesses as you would want. 1 guess per comment. Makes it easier for me. Go ahead and begin. I'll be accepting quite a few answers before I say done in the chat. I'm only accepting answers above when I said done in the chat. We'll move on to Guess That Balloon next. Hey, Richard Green, welcome. We're playing Battleship. Get your answers in. Richard Green, welcome to the chat. All right, I'm going to stop it right there because that is a lot, but that's okay. It's a good amount. Richard Green, welcome back. All right, let's go ahead and get this started. Richard, we're 20 minutes into the second one for tonight. We'll have another one later, an hour after this one ends. All right, we have A7. Hit. There's a point for Javier. A1, miss. A D4, miss. B7, miss. F5. Hit. That is a point for Retro Frog. G6, miss. C7, miss. A4, hit. That is a point for Connor. Connor, I got to add you to the scoreboard. Welcome to the scoreboard, Connor. Connor, you're currently in the lead for entering the Hall of Champions at 1 point. Continuing on. B3, miss. B8, miss. D7. Hit. That is a point for Javier. A2. Hit. That is a point for Retro Frog. A3, miss. E7, miss. D3, miss. A4, hit, but it was already a hit. F7, miss. B4, miss. J9, miss. B5, miss. G5, miss. F7, miss. B6, miss. G7, hit. That is a point for Javier. B7, miss. B8, miss. H7, hit. That is another point for Javier. C1, miss. J1, miss. C2, hit. That is a point for Retro Frog. C2, hit, but it was already a hit. I7, hit and sunk. That is a point for Javier. All right. C3, miss. C4, miss. J7, miss. J10, miss. B1, miss. A3, miss. G4, miss. B3, miss. D1, miss. C3, miss. D3, miss. H8, miss. B6, miss. J9, miss. E3, miss. C8, miss. F3, hit. That's another point for Javier. A1, miss. C1, miss. G3, miss. C3, miss. H3, hit. That's another point for Javier. C6, miss. I3, miss. I2, miss. J3, miss. I3, miss. G6, miss. J10, miss. H3, miss. Oh, no, sorry. H2 was a hit, but it was already a hit. H5, hit. There's a point for Retro. A10, miss. F5, hit, but it was already a hit. H7, hit, but it was already a hit. I8, miss. H9, miss. J1, miss. D9, hit. That is a point for M and H. M&H, welcome to the scoreboard. As a returning champion, you are entered in as red. D10, miss. C10, miss. D7. Hit, but it was already a hit. Last one would be D10, miss. All right. Javier, you've been seeking the whole normie with them hits. Yeah, he gets a lot of hits. Hey, welcome back, Richard. I hope your internet's better today. All right. As per requested from Connor, that we move on, or we play some balloons. So we're going to play a few rounds of Guess That Balloon. The first person to correctly guess what I'm making will get a point on the scoreboard. What do we have here? Oh, that is a point for M&H. M&H are at 2 points. Continuing on. Put that away before I knock it over. All right, continuing on. We're going to play another round of Guess That Balloon. The first person to correctly guess what I'm making will get a point on the scoreboard. Two guesses per player per balloon. First person to correctly guess what I'm making. Only two guesses per balloon per player. I'm only accepting the first two guesses. This thing has a huge trunk. It has a huge trunk. Elephant is correct. Olive, welcome back. First person on my screen who said elephant would be Javier. Moving on to another game. We are going to play Family Feud. There are 7 answers on this card. That means up to 7 points can be handed out to the players. If you are the first person to give me an answer and it is on this line, or at least closely related to an answer on this line, you will get a point on the scoreboard. One guess per comment, as many comments as you would like. If you thought you heard a robber in your home, where would you hide? Go ahead and start. If you thought you heard a robber in your home, where would you hide? Where would you hide? Olive, I do love that the first answer was gun. That's a good answer, but we're talking about where you would hide. Oh my God. All right. Done. Not accepting any more answers past when I said done. Up to the top. Javier, you get a point for closet. That's the top answer. See, is bathroom on here? Bathroom is on here. Let's play for you, retro. James said bedroom. Under bed slash bedroom was on one line. James, you're going to get that. James, welcome to the scoreboard. As a returning champion, you are entered in as red. Welcome back. Good to have you. Olive, I would have given it to you under bed, but it was already given for bedroom. Ooh, under stairs. Not on here. That's a good one, though. Basement. Basement. That is a point for Richard. Richard, welcome to the scoreboard as a returning champion. Entered in as red. Welcome back. I hope your internet's faster and feeling better. Under blanket. Not on here. Under bed was given out. The toilet. Not on here. Attic is a good one, but the dog kennel. Oh my God. Neighbors. Behind the curtains. Secret room. Under the bed. Okay, the two answers that were here were the other two answers were the garage, outside, and then okay, I guess there's three. I can't believe this is on here, but it says behind wife. What about in the fridge? If it was on here, I would have given it to you for in the fridge. Would it? I give the answers out if they're on here. Y'all had pretty good. Yeah, behind wife was an answer. I don't. Oof. That's a rough one. Josh the Great, welcome back. Welcome back. We're going to play another round of Family Feud. This is a short one. Only 3 answers are on this one. If you won the lottery, name something you might go to your job to do. You said after the garden. Oh, you did. You did. It was close. Count Rhythm, welcome back, former champion. If you won the lottery, name something you might go to your job to do. Yeah, Josh, we're playing Family Feud right now. Wow. All right, we're going to go ahead and stop this right now. I was waiting for the third answer. But, geez. Quit would be the top answer and Count Rhythm, you got it. Count Rhythm, welcome back. It's good to see you again. Welcome to the scoreboard. And as a former champion, you are entered in as red. Seeing all of your replies, I'm not surprised nobody got the third one, but we'll continue on and I'll see if somebody did. Quit was on here. Brag. Olive. Welcome to the scoreboard, Olive C. Olive, you're now tied. Olive Cumming, you're now tied with Connor. And in the lead, tied for entering the Hall of Champions. All right. I don't think anybody said the third one. But I'm going to... By the way, the third one was keep working. I don't think anybody said that. Nope. I saw your guys' answers. Wow, Coward. Let me actually go buy out the company and fire it. Why you guys hate your jobs? I would not keep working. Yeah. No, I would not either. Well, hey, it depends, right? If you buy a scratch-off ticket for $1 and you won $2, you won the lottery. But boy, you'd have to keep working. You're self-employed. Hey, that's funny. All right, we're going to play another round of Family Feud. Josh, just in case you were, I know you came in kind of at the start of that one. This is not Justifiable Thoughts. This does not start with a certain letter. This is a Family Feud card. So for, there can be anywhere from 3 to 8 answers on a card. I have you guys name something, and if your answer is on this card and you're the first one to say it, you get a point on the board. So for this card, there are 5 answers. So up to 5 points can be handed out. Are you ready? Name something that would be impossible to do in the dark. Name something that would be impossible to do in the dark. Up to 5 answers can be handed out. Yes, Connor, did I name the game that has no name? It was Mike Tones helped me named it, and we named it Justifiable Thoughts. Eye surgery, Jesus. I don't know if anyone will get on the last one. The last one was a weird one to be on here. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it. All right, going to the top, going to the top. I'm trying to be straight. Let's see if I can write on this. This will make it so much easier for me. I can. Can I erase it? Perfect. Let's make it easier for me to keep track of. All right, name something that would be impossible to do in the dark. Retro, can we play Justifiable after? Sure. All of you said Reed. Reed is on here. That's a point for you, Olive. Olive, congratulations. You're currently in the lead for entering the Hall of Champions, but that is not announced for another 1 hour and 17 minutes. Continuing on, MNH said Right is on here. MNH, you're at 3. Bake. Oh, wow. Baking would be super hard. Not on here, but good answer. Reed was already given out. Art would be extremely hard. Not on here, but these are good answers. Eye surgery. Oof. I wouldn't let somebody do that on me awake. I mean, with the lights on. Excuse me. All right, we have bathe. Not on here. Eat. Richard Green, you're getting the point for eat. MNH, you get the point for C, and the last point that I don't think anybody said was put on makeup. What about Zoomy? Oh, Connors, I considered Zoomy. I did consider Zoomy, but Justifiable Thoughts had made a little bit more sense, so I had went with, you had Zoomy, a couple other people had other suggestions, and I did appreciate your guys' suggestions a lot, and I considered them all. And then Mike Tones had I think I went off of Mike Tones, and then, but I did appreciate your suggestion. You think somebody else said C first? Technically, you couldn't eat in the dark. Name something that would be impossible to do in the dark. Eat was on here, but you absolutely could eat in the dark. I think you mean you could. Oh, technically, couldn't you eat in the dark? Yeah, I don't see why not. It's not impossible. But it was on here, so I'll give the point out. Count Rhythm, you said you think somebody else said C first. I'm going to go back to the top and see who said C first. Oh, Josh the Great said C first. Thank you. Oh, wow. I didn't even see that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Who did I give the point to C to? I think I gave it to Count Rhythm. Thank you so much. I appreciate the honesty. Count the Rhythm, I'm going to keep your name up there. Josh, welcome to the scoreboard. Count Rhythm, I appreciate that. I do make mistakes, so I love that. You guys help me catch them. All right. Continuing on. No, I gave it to M&H. Did I? Hey, Baronator, welcome back. Glad you're still alive. All right, give me 1 second. Oh, wow, I gave it to M&H. Count Rhythm, you actually said it before M&H as well. I double messed that one up. My apologies. I'm going to take it away from M&H for C. Count Rhythm. So then that means I took your point away from something else. My apologies. All right. Double whoopsies. All right. Thank you. We want to keep it fair, fun, and friendly, and I do make mistakes, so thank you guys for that. All right. Somebody asked if we can move on to justifiable thoughts. All right. Name something a divorced couple cannot cut in half, starting with the letter K. Kid. Oh, Connor Baronator is hitchhiking right now, so it's good to see that he's popping in, checking in, making sure he's still alive. Olive, you get the point for Kid. Oh, I made it too close to get pink. It's hard to do kind of backwards sometimes. All right. Olive, Kid was a great answer. Kid was a great answer. Name a word you could use instead of a cuss word, starting with the letter D. Darn. Javier, I'll give it to you. And for anybody who may not know what this game is, it's called Justifiable Thoughts. And that is where I have you guys name something starting with a random letter. The letter changes every round. The first person to give me a justifiable answer will get a point. Name something a dog probably looks forward to seeing when he goes for a walk, starting with the letter T. A tree. Sorry, Connor. Javier. Tree was good. Name something you like to be alone to do, starting with the letter R. Hey, Tree, welcome back. Retro, I think you said read as a typo, but I'll give it to you. Oh, yeah, I would hate to read at like a party or with a lot of people. Relax. Yep. Read and poop. Okay. Retro, you get the point. 15, you're at. Name something kids are told to take turns using, starting with the letter P. I'm going to go with play toys for the first acceptable answer, because it was something that they have to use. It's a point for retro. Piano, PlayStation. I hope they take turns with the potty. I hope they don't do it at the same time. Name something you would ruin if you spilt a drink on it, starting with the letter C. All right, the first acceptable answer is computer. Josh the Great, you would not ruin a cat if you spilt a drink on it, but that cat would ruin your day. That's for sure. If you, oof. All right, count rhythm. You said computer first on my screen. Name something you would buy that you hope you would never have to use, starting with the letter A. A first aid kit. That's a point for retro. An atomic bomb. I don't know where you go shopping, but they don't sell those at Walmart near me. You guys have good? I don't know how you would use an anaconda, but yeah, don't. An arrow. Okay. Good answers, good answers. Name something that could ruin a date, starting with the letter B. Breath. I will give it to you, Josh. Oh, count rhythm for justifiable thoughts. Your answer it can be a letter, or I'm sorry, it can be a word or a sentence, but if it's either way, it has to start with the letter that I give you. So that his sentence did start with A. All right, Josh, you got it for breath. That's the pencil. That's not going to work. Josh, you're at 2 points. Oh, baby could definitely. Hey, Mustang Mike, welcome back. Welcome back. We're playing Justifiable Thoughts, where I have you guys name something, but it must start with the random letter that I choose. Name something with teeth, starting with the letter S. All right, wow, a lot of you guys said snake. First person to say snake. Josh, you said shake, but I'm pretty sure you had a typo and meant snake, so I'll give it to you. All right, Josh, you're tied with Olive for 3 points. You both have 3 points, tied for entering the Hall of Champions. Oh, and Olive is coming back tomorrow. Okay, Olive, we have 1 more today. I should have about 3 tomorrow. 3 streams. You meant shark, but thanks? Oh, I like your honesty, but I have to take the point away because we have to be fair. So I have to. I'm so sorry. No, wait. I'm sorry, Josh. I really appreciate your honesty, but I really have to be fair. I'm glad that I thought you meant snake because you were so close, but you meant shark. Oh, wait a minute. That's still a good answer. I'm so sorry. I forgot what game we were playing for a second. No, that's shark have teeth. That's still a good answer. That's still a good answer. Yeah, yeah, nope, shark still has teeth. I just forgot what game we were playing for a second. Sometimes we switch back and forth between the games so fast that I kind of... no, you're allowed to have typos. Because so many people said snake, for some reason I just got stuck in my head that snake was the answer. But nope, shark is still a valid answer. Shark still has teeth. So my apologies. I gave your point back. Name a reason you might not leave your house all day, starting with the letter B. A bomb. Josh, I'll give that to you. I would not leave my house with a bomb either, or because of a bomb. Bad weather, bad morning, babysitting, butt hurts. Mine's froze from sitting on this chair. Sorry guys, I'm a little out of it today. I've just been a little sick. But I am still having a lot of fun, so I'm still doing the 3 streams. Get a cushion. Yeah, I really should. I have a better chair over there. I just don't know if it would fit in this very small space for my gaming studio. Other than that, I'm probably going to have to. I struggle with resting anyway. If I weren't streaming, I would just be reading, and so neither's very restful per se. So I'm just going to keep going. Name something silly to argue about, starting with the letter C. No, Richard, I really haven't been well since my trip last weekend. Name something silly to argue about. Starting with the letter C. M&H said cats. Silly argument about cats. Josh, you said cake. Connor, you said Connor, crabs, cars, cookies, chores. Oh, Richard, so many people argue over chores and stuff, but it can still be an absolutely silly argument. That's still fair, though. M&H, you said cats. Yeah, I really haven't been good for the last week, but that's okay. I think I'm going to be taking Tuesday and Thursday off of streaming. At least Tuesday off of streaming. Tuesday seems to be the least busy day for streaming anyway, which is good because I'm streaming all weekend, all day today and tomorrow, so I'm probably going to try to do some resemblance of resting on Tuesday, whatever that may look like. We'll see. Probably just reading all day or something, but... Playing another round of Justifiable Thoughts. Not taking Labor Day off? No. No, I try to work as many days as I can on my projects, and then I just take a day off when I really, really, really need it. Other than that, I try not to take a day off or rest much. I just have a lot of goals that I'm trying to hit, and I'm not there. Thank you, Josh. Yes, trying to be locked in, for the next till I make it, even if it's till the day I die. Do I have any other jobs in this? I don't know what you mean by that, Connor. I'm self-employed. I've been self-employed for a while. All right, we're gonna do one more round. I'm just looking for a good topic. Name something a school bus driver would hate to see a kid throw out a window, starting with the letter B. Josh with the bombs. Man. Would he hate to see it thrown out the window, or would he be relieved that a bomb got thrown out the window? I mean, I'm sure he would still hate it. So I'll give you the point. But I'd be a little bit more relieved than mad. But I'll still give you it. I agree, Retro, both. Josh, you'll get the point. You're at 5. Oh, Josh, you're actually... I forgot to give you a thing. You're in the lead for entering the Hall of Champions. Boots. Books. A burger. I'd be mad if somebody threw a burger out the window. I'd be eating that. A bad kid? Oh, yeah. Throw another kid out the window would be pretty bad. A brick. Oh, my God. These are all good answers. These are all great answers. All right, guys. We are officially at the halftime. So we are going to take the halftime 5-minute break. I will be back in 5 minutes. When you hear the start of the gong, the 5 minutes has begun. When you hear the start of the air horn, the 5 minutes is over. Hey, Tree, have a good one. Have a good one. And I do keep a stopwatch on me to respect everybody's time. I'll be back in 5 minutes, starting now. Hey, it's Shannon. I host the games that keep score while you play them by commentating. If you would like to support the channel and enter the Hall of Supporters, my Cash App is Shannon1742. My PayPal and Venmo are mindfuldiscovery@yahoo.com. These should be pinned in the comments. If you are interested in any of the games played on this show or the props used, I have affiliate links in the description. I earn a commission for each product bought at no extra cost to you. Another way you can show support is by purchasing my book, Beyond Solitaire, 52 Unique One-Player Games. This is a book on learning the rules for 52 solitaire-type card games with various levels of difficulties, chance, and skill. I wrote detailed instructions for new and experienced players to be able to learn these games, along with setup pictures for examples. Beyond Solitaire, 52 unique one-player games is available on Amazon as a paperback book and on the Kindle store. It is also enrolled in the Kindle Unlimited program. We have a minute left in the break. Who will enter the Hall of Champions tonight? The three key principles for this game show. We want to be fair, we want to have fun, and we want to be friendly. I personally want to thank this community and everyone in the Hall of Fame for helping develop this positive game show experience. All right, we are back. We'll start again shortly. A little bit of a technical difficulty with my sign. There we go. Here we go, it's working again. Alright, we're going to go ahead and kick it off with Guess That Balloon. Give me 1 second here. There we go. Alright, we're going to go ahead and kick it off from the break with Guess That Balloon. I'll go ahead and read the scores real quick, see what everyone's at. Amongst the champions, we have Retro Frog has 17, Javier 20, Simon D 1, MNH 4, James M 1, Richard G 2, Count Rhythm 2. Amongst everybody else competing to enter the Hall of Champions, we have Connor 1, Olive Cumming 3, Josh the Great 5. Yes, 2 guesses per balloon. Thank you. First person who corrects a guess will get a point on the scoreboard. Alright, we'll try that again. I did ruin this box of balloons, so the next 300 balloons, 300 to 400 balloons might be rough on this show. And I can't just throw them away, because that would be a waste. Connor, you were the first one on the stream. All right. First person to correctly guess what I'm making within 2 guesses will get a point on the scoreboard. Connor, you were here immediately. Yeah, if you guys ever decide to do balloon art, which there are links in below for a good price on balloons. If they're stored in too cold of an environment or too hot of an environment, you can ruin the balloons because they're made out of latex and you can ruin the latex. And that's what I did is I left them in a hot car. I mean, it was like 90 degrees for like 2-3 days. And I ruined the box and it really sucks. Because now they pop a lot easier. A lot easier. Man. Alright, it just doesn't have a tail. That's a good pop. These are scales. Prehistoric, they were scales. This thing is extinct. Just like the scales that just popped. Oh, wow, that one was loud. That one just made my ear hurt. Alright, I don't think any... Dino is correct, but retro was not within your first 2 guesses. It was not within your first 2 guesses. I'm going to give the point to... Oh, M&H was not within your first 2 guesses. We're going to go ahead and say done there, and nobody's going to get the point for that one. Alright, we're going to move on to one more round of Guess That Balloon, and then we're going to go back to another game. One more round of Guess That Balloon. I really do have to sit and learn some more balloons. It's been a minute since I've done that because I've been working on some other card games for here, for the show. Unlucky. Two guesses per balloon, only 2 guesses per balloon. One more round of Guess That Balloon. Not a dragonfly. It's not a sword, believe it or not. Alright, first person to correctly guess what I have made will get a point on the scoreboard. It is a flower. First person to say flower was M&H. M&H, you're at 5 points. You're at 5 points. Give me 1 second. Slight technical difficulty, so sorry about that. Alright, continuing on. Oh, that didn't work. That's okay. Alright, we're going to move on. Actually, first person to say a game, we'll play it. First person to say a game, we'll play it. Password it is. Password it is. Richard, that's a good one. We're going to move on to password. The first person to correctly guess my one-word password. Hey, it's Maddie. Welcome back. Welcome back. We're playing password. The first person to correctly guess my one-word password will get a point on the scoreboard. Crazy Vlogs, welcome back. Alright, oops. Hey, not a problem, Crazy. Not a problem. Moving on. First person to correctly guess my one-word password without typos. Typos are not allowed. We'll get a point on the scoreboard. This is something that you, if you break your arm, you have to have one. So if your arm was in this, it would have to stay in here for quite a while, depending on the type of break. It's not quite a cast. The cast is close. It's actually, if you don't need a cast, it's an alternative to a cast, I believe. It's not a splint. It's actually a soft thing that you can take on and off. It's a sling. Cast is a good guess. I guess depending on how you break it, you would either need a splint to cast, a brace, or a sling, but sling was the correct one on here. Richard, you're going to get the point. Richard, you're at 3 points. Moving on to another round of password. The first person to correctly guess my one-word password without typos will get a point on the scoreboard. This is the most strict game in the show because I don't allow typos. What is it called when you are cooking with dry heat in the oven? What is that type of cooking called where you use dry heat? Bake is correct. That is a point for Retro Frog. Moving on to another round of password. The first person to correctly guess my one-word password will get a point on the scoreboard. Typos are not allowed. Capitalization does not matter. Many songs produced by an artist is called this. Also, people have put a lot of photos in one of these. Album is correct. That is a point for It's Maddie. Give me 1 second here. It's Maddie. Welcome to the scoreboard. I do have to make sure I spell your name right. I'm pretty sure I've seen you before. It's Maddie. But I don't think you've been. I'm going to double check. I don't think that you've been on the Hall of Fame before. So, congratulations. It looks like this is your first time earning a point on the Hall of Fame, which means I will be entering your name, where once you enter, you never leave. You are the 164th person. You are the 164th person to earn a point on this live game show. Congratulations. I just checked somebody else who was on the Hall of Fame was called It's Sophie, and so ITZ, and so I was getting a little confused, and so I had to just triple check that one to make sure. Welcome, welcome. Just so you know, I actually wrote you down and I didn't get a point, give you a point. I apologize on that. Just so you know, one person is entered into the Hall of Champions every single stream. Everybody who's red is a former champion. Everybody who's black is competing to enter the Hall of Champions. Amongst the people competing, Connor has 1, Olive Cumming has 3, Josh the Great has 5, and now It's Maddie has 1. In about 30 minutes, the champion will be announced, and we will be doing a third stream 1 hour after this one ends. One person enters the Hall of Champion every single stream. Welcome back, Josh the Great. Don't go away too long if you want to hold on to your title. Josh, you're currently in the lead, but it's not over till it's over. All right, moving on to another round of password. The first person to correctly guess my one-word password without typos will get a point on the scoreboard. This is a really small, annoying, jumping insect that gets on dogs and cats, sucks their blood, and makes them scratch a lot. Flea is correct. First person on my screen who said flea would be Josh. It's Maddie. You were a close second, and then Retro was a close third with a typo. Actually, typos are not allowed. So Josh, you got it. Maddie, you were a close second. Josh, you're at 6 points. Remember, we use my screen as a tiebreaker. Ooh, moving on to another round of password. The first person to correctly guess my one word. Oh, I can show you I will show you my chat. So, Maddie, what happens with the internet is if a lot of people send it very close in time to the same, sorry, I'm a little sick today. Yeah, the YouTube has delayed chat a little bit, and so on many people's screen, it could show many people at once that you all sent it. I'm sorry, I've been sick for a while, but okay. So basically, when you all send it near the same time as somebody else, it shows all of you, or it can show many of you on your screen that you guys sent it first. However, since I'm hosting, we have to have some way to break ties, so we use my screen to break the ties. And this is the live chat. Well, I try to keep it as fair as I possibly can. So on my screen, Josh said flea first, and then Maddie, then you said flea, and then Retro said fella, which would have been a typo, not allowed in password. But so I do try my hardest on this game show to keep it as fair as possible. Let me make sure that actually popped up. It did. I know it's not always the most fair and stuff, or at least it doesn't seem the most fair, but we do have to have some system, so sorry about that. All right, moving back on to another round of password. And I can always pull up my screen anytime it's requested. Moving on to another round of password. The first person who correctly guesses my one-word password will go get a point on the scoreboard. All right, a lot of science is called this before it's discovered as science. It's kind of another word for witchcraft in a sense. Some people's careers revolve around this, or at least sleight of hand, and they call it this. Magic would be correct. A lot of things that we know as science today were magic hundreds of years ago. And Retro Frog, you were the first person on my screen to say magic, so you're going to get that. Continuing on to, that was a good one. I also liked that one. Continuing on to another round of password, we do play multiple different card games on the show throughout the stream. We have about 37 minutes till the winner's announced. Roughly. Moving on to another round of password. The first person to correctly tell me what my one-word password is without any typos will get a point on the scoreboard. You like food depending on its blank. If you add too much of a spice, you could ruin the blank of the food. Taste is close. Ooh. Alright, it is flavor, and Richard, I'm going to give it to you on a technicality. I know it's password and you're not supposed to have any typos, but Richard is from the UK, and in the UK, they do add extra letters a lot that we don't. I'm just light teasing. They just, oftentimes where we have an O, they have an O-U, and so he spelled flavor right for his country, so Richard, I'm going to give you the point. Yeah, it's, only about a third of my audience are from the US, and so I try to, you're welcome, I try to keep it as fair as I can. And if this game was made in the UK, where he's from, that would have been how you spell it. Nope, nothing to be sorry, Richard. You got it first. No, I like to be fair. Yeah, to be fair, you still had it first. You still earned it. Moving on to another round of password. The first person to tell me what my one-word password is will get a point on the scoreboard. Typos are not allowed. Extra U's are fine. That's a joke. You cannot just randomly. Typos are not allowed. What is somebody? People drive these around to get to work. It's not a car. It's not a truck. It's a general term for automobiles. Although it's not just a term for automobiles, also doesn't mean it has to have an engine for it to be one of these. Vehicle is correct. I just learned recently that a bicycle is considered a vehicle. A cart is also as well, I think. That was a really weird one. The first person on my screen to say vehicle was Josh the Great. Alright, continuing on to another round of password. We're going to play one more round of password and then we're going to switch up the game a little bit. Typos are not allowed. Capitalization does not matter. This is a root that people use for seasoning that oftentimes when people have it for the first time, they actually think they're having an allergic reaction because it's got this weird, it's got a weird sensation to it, especially the first time that you eat it. It's also a derogatory word for somebody with red hair. Or it can be a derogatory word. Ginger is correct. There's a point for Josh the Great. All right, we're going to move on to Family Feud. Many points can be handed out. Many points can be handed out. Oh, I got this. All right. Up to 5 points can be handed out to the players. How Family Feud works is I have you guys name something. And if you are the first person to say an answer that is on this card, you'll get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 5 points can be handed out. Name something a school bus driver would hate to see a kid throw out of a window. Up to 5 points can be handed out. You're allowed as many guesses as you would like, but one guess per comment, as many comments as you would like. I'd hate if somebody threw bacon out. All right, we're going to stop it there, and I'm only going to accept the answers above when I said done. Name something a school bus driver would hate to see a kid throw out. Starting at the top, we have pencils not on here. Paper is not on here. Backpacks not. Books is. That's a point for you, Javier. Food. Lunchbox / food is on here. Who said that? Retro. A baby. Richard, a baby is not on here, but that's a good answer. I would also think somebody would hate to see a baby thrown out of a school bus. A rock, gum, a brick, candy, a steering wheel. I'd really hate that. Other kids, Retro, you got it on another kid is on here. All right. That was all of them. That was all of them. All right, we're going to move on to Battleship. Do not start guessing till you hear the ding, 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 please. We like to keep it fair. This is a card game. Hey, Sniff, welcome to a live game show where I host and keep score. You play by commenting. Hey, Hazard Briley, welcome back. Welcome back. Actually, we'll play Battleship in a couple rounds. Welcome back. No, this is a live game show. What do we do to win? You must comment. You must be the first person to comment the correct answer. You must be the first person to comment the correct answer, and I will put your name on the scoreboard, and I keep track of the points. We play many different types of card games on this show. We're going to play another round of Family Feud. Oh, can we do Blurt? Yeah, I was thinking Blurt, actually. We'll do Blurt. Blurt's easier, especially for newer people. All right. Hit, but it was already a hit. Yeah, pretty much. With All right, so here's how this one works. We're going to play Blurt. Blurt is where I read the, welcome back, Connor. Blurt is where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. You're allowed as many guesses as you want, but only 1 guess per comment. It keeps it easier for me. So here we go. And if you don't know the answer for the first one, you can answer the second one, vice versa. And yes, you can answer to both, but they must be in different comments. Up to 2 points can be handed out. The first definition: the color of chocolate and coffee. The second definition: small cubes marked on each side with from 1 to 6 dots. Brown is correct. That is a point for Javier. We use my screen to break ties. Because that dice is correct. That is another point for Javier. We do use my screen. Actually, with what we're going to do with Blurt, since we have a few new people in here, I'm going to leave my screen popped out for a little bit so you guys can see. I'm going to leave my screen popped out a little bit so you guys can see how wildly different your screens may be from my screen. Just because this is a very good example because I'm playing Blurt. All right, moving on to another round of Blurt, the first person. Sorry, this is where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition: the large round nut of a tropical palm tree. The second definition: a smooth, sweet mixture of sugar, butter, and sometimes eggs that is used to cover baked goods like cakes and cookies. Coconut is correct. We'll go back and check. Josh the Great said coconut first on my screen. Icing is correct. Let me go back and make sure. Here's where we started. All right, looks like Richard said icing first. This is a much more challenging way for me to be able to keep track of it. Because normally I can see like 4 times the amount of chats, but I do it for you guys. Moving on to another round of Blurt where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition: soft white crystals formed by water vapor that freezes high in the air and falls to the ground. The second definition: a paper tube containing an explosive and a fuse used to make noise during celebrations. Snow is correct. I'll reread. Firework. Oh, it's not firework. I might have just given a hint that that's very close. A paper tube containing an explosive and a fuse used to make noise during celebrations. Firecrackers is correct. All right, I got to go back. Give me a second. Who's the first person to say snow? That would be Javier. Make sure. Or on the other one. First person to say firecracker. Oops. All right, Javier. I would have counted snowflake. It was close enough. I would have counted snowflake. Every game has different levels of leniencies. Yeah, I would have counted snowflake. Here's why, because snow is in snowflake. It's really close. So for example, different games have different levels of leniencies. For this one, if the answer is dad and you say dads, I'd take it. But if the answer is dad but you say father, it's too far off. Pretty much if your answer's in this answer or this answer's in your answer, so example snow and snowflake, they're close enough to do it. But you weren't the first. So yeah, on my screen, Javier said snow first right here, and then it's Maddie said snowflake. Moving on to another round of Blurt, where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition, a lively, athletic girl. The second definition, a chemical element that is a metal having a silver color, is liquid at normal temperatures and used especially in thermometers. Remember, we want to keep it fair, fun, and friendly. There was nothing mean going on there. There was nothing mean going on there, Connor. We're going to keep it fair. Oh, fair, fun, and friendly. Mercury is correct. I don't think... Typos are okay. You're the first one to say Mercury. Welcome back, James. I don't think anyone got the first one. A lively, athletic girl. Yeah, we're just here to have fun. Can I re-say the first one? A lively, athletic girl. This is a weird one. Had I read the word first, I also wouldn't have said it, to be honest. Oh. Crud, give me a second. Technical difficulty. Tomboy was the correct answer. Tomboy was the correct answer. That is a point for Javier. Do have to check the time to make sure that we are staying on track. We are. All right, we are going to play... Josh, that's up to interpretation on Tomboy. That's language is always changing, so what it meant 10 years ago could be different from now and different from 30 years ago. We're going to move on to Battleship. Yeah, language is always changing, which is really cool. It also makes it tricky, too. Oh, snap. Oh, never mind. All right, we're going to move on to Battleship. How Battleship works. Do not start guessing yet until you hear the ding, ding, ding. You guys are guessing where I hid my battleships on my Battleship board. We are continuing from earlier. The board is reset between streams, but it is not, it stays the same throughout the stream. So, the first person to hit this part of the Battleship will get a point on the scoreboard. This is a 10 by 10 grid. You guys have to pair a letter with a number. The rows are lettered A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. The columns are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You must pair a letter with a number. For example, you could say A1 or J10. You're allowed as many guesses as you would like, but only 1 guess per comment. Go ahead and begin. Oh, Josh, I just haven't reset it since the first time we played it this stream, but it is always reset between streams. So almost half the points are taken on this board. Up to 30 points can be handed out. Wow, that's a lot of guesses. Yeah, I keep the board the same in 1 2-hour stream. Okay, I'm going to have to stop that. All right, I only accept the answers above when I said done. I only accept the answers above when I said done. I'm going to go ahead and pop out my chat, and you guys will see it. This is a good way to be able to see how vastly different Give me a second, guys. I'm having a technical difficulty. Oh, that's unfortunate. All right. So when I pop out the chat, it can only go so far back. The first one was, give me a second. Sorry. I'd like to figure this out. Sorry about that. All right. I will pop out my chat soon, but not yet, because the first several are cut out if I pop them out because it doesn't show them all. So we're going to I'll read the first like 10 or something, and then I'll pop out my chat. You guys can follow through. Oh man, technical difficulty again. I've been off my game today. Sorry about that. Continuing on, let's see what we have. We have B6, miss. A3, miss. G2, miss. G3, miss. A8, hit. There's a point for Javier. I think I can pop it on now just to show you guys. And if you follow along with your chat and my chat, you'll see how different it is. All right, A8 is where the hit is, and now it's caught up. Yeah. There we go. All right. G4, miss. C4, miss. F4, miss. G6, miss. D6, miss. A9, miss. G8, miss. A7, hit, but it was already a hit from earlier. B9, miss. A6, hit. Give me a second, I gotta mark it down. That's a point for M and H. G20, miss and invalid. Go to miss still. C9, miss. B2, hit. That is a point for Crazy Vlogs. Crazy Vlogs, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome to the scoreboard. All right, I had Crazy Vlogs real quick, continuing on. All right, J5, hit. That is a point for Josh the Great. Josh, you're at 10. Continuing on, you're currently in the lead for entering the Hall of Champions. J7, miss. D9, hit, but it was already a hit. Sorry, guys, this normally goes a lot faster, but I have a lot of issues today. G10, miss. G8, miss. A9, miss. E9, miss. I4, miss. G6, miss. H4, hit. That is a point for Retro Frog. F9, hit. That is a point for Javier. H2, hit. That is a point for Richard Green. You're at 6. C8, miss. B4, miss. H6, miss. H8, miss. G5, miss. G9, hit and sunk. That is a point for Javier. H6, miss. H3, hit, but it was already a hit. H9, miss. J8, miss. H9, miss. G8, miss. I8, miss. J3, miss. H7, hit, but it was already a hit. I9, miss. I1, miss. A5, hit and sunk. That is a point for M&H. Nothing extra is rewarded for the sink. I just let you guys know. Some people like to mark down the hits and the misses. J3, miss. J9, miss. I2, miss. G5, miss. H9, miss. I3, I4, I5, miss. H4, hit, but it was already a hit. I8, miss. I9, miss. A6, hit, but it was already a hit. F4, miss. A9, miss. Last one. D2, hit and sunk. That is a point for Josh. All right. Yes, I will announce the winner soon. Crazy Vlogs, welcome to the scoreboard. I don't know if I gave you the sound. That was a lot. Oh, hey, Dollar, welcome back. How many points do you have, Connor? You have 1. I'll go ahead and announce the points real quick. Yeah, we have about 13 minutes till the second stream's over. Amongst the champions, amongst the former champions, Retro Frog, you have 22. Javier, you have 30. Simon, you have 1. M&H, you have 7. James, you have 1. Richard Green, you have 6. Count Rhythm has 2. Amongst everyone else competing to enter the Hall of Champions, where one person will enter in about 12 and a half minutes. Connor, you have 1. Olive Coming, you have 3. It's Maddie, 1. Crazy Vlogs, 1. Josh the Great, you're currently in the lead with 11 points. What time is my first stream? It was quite a few hours ago. It's Sunday, so I was doing it a little bit earlier. Oh, man. We're not going to play another round of Battleship, but I'll show you guys I'll show it to you guys. You thought the first one always started at 5? It depends. It depends. If I'm only doing 2 in that day, it'll probably start at 5. If I'm only doing 2, but if I'm doing 3 or 4, especially if I'm doing 4, and then I need to start a lot earlier. So today I had one start at 5 p.m. My time, and then this is I have another one starting at 8 p.m. and that's probably going to be the last one for the day. All right. These are always competitive and fair. Yeah, I like it. I try to have fun. You barely type your hands under your dog. That's funny. All right, we're going to move on to another. We're going to play Tribond. We haven't played Tribond in a while. Tribond is where I give you guys 3 things. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common. We'll get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 3 points can be handed out to the players. We have Filbert, Hazel, Pecan. Filbert, Hazel, Pecan. Nut is correct. It's a point for Josh. I know you said butt, but I think that was a typo. Moving on to another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 1 point can be handed out. Sorry. We have Queen, Knight, Pawn. First person to tell me what these 3 things have in common, and it's on here. Queen, Knight, Pawn. No problem. Crazy Vlogs. Chess would be correct. They are pieces in the game of chess. Josh, that's a point for you. You're at 13. Moving on to another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. I try not to do anything U.S. specific because most of my audience is not in the U.S. So sometimes I have to just skip cards. All right, we have Engine, Boxcar, Caboose. Engine, Boxcar, Caboose. Caboose. Train is correct. They are terms for trains. There's an engine and a train. A boxcar is a type of train, and a caboose is, I believe, the last train connected to, or the last train car connected to a train to hold for like the sleeping quarters and stuff. All right, it looks like it's Maddie got train. It's Maddie, you're at 2. That was a good one. That was a tricky one. Moving on to another round of Tribon, the first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common. We'll get a point on the scoreboard. We have buck, baby, wisdom. Yeah, that was a good job, man. That was a tricky one. It's not deer. It's not parent. Teeth, buck teeth, baby tooth, wisdom tooth. Wisdom teeth, baby teeth, buck teeth. Teeth is correct. I would have accepted tooth as well. Retro, you got that. Yeah, Tribon's a really fun one. I really like Tribon. You just got to figure out what these 3 things have in common. Sometimes it's very abstract. All right, moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. A dentist, a carpenter, an oil company. A dentist, a carpenter, an oil company. This is a tricky one. I'm not going to lie. This is a tricky one. Drill is correct. Do they drill or have drills was the answer. A dentist, they drill in your mouth. A carpenter, well, they drill. And an oil company, they drill. And drill was correct. That's a point for Javier. Yeah, that was a really tricky one. That was a thinker. I'm glad I'm on this end of the game. I would not get many points on this game show. I'm not even going to lie. Moving on to another round of Tribon, the first person. What do they drill for oil? Connor, they drill into the ground till they get to the oil, and then they pump it back up. But they're just drilling into the ground. So, moving back on to another round of Tribon, the first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common. I'll get a point on the scoreboard. We have pumpkin, poppy, sesame. Yeah, fair enough, Richard. It's funny. Seed is correct. Point for Retro, first one to say it. All right, moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Tab, return, backspace. Keyboard is correct. That is a point for Josh the Great. They are keys on the keyboard. Hey, Yuvra, welcome back. Welcome back, Yuvra. Moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Wood, chocolate, potato. Yuvra, you're joining pretty late. This one, we have about 5.5 minutes left in this stream, but then I will be streaming one more time tonight, 1 hour after this one ends. There it is, not brown. Not natural. I will repeat. We are playing Tribon. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. We have wood, chocolate, potato. I think wood makes this one tricky. I think wood makes this tricky. Wood chocolate potato. I think I'm going to put 15 seconds on the clock and see if anybody can get it. All right, I always repeat the answer before I start timing it. We're playing Tribe on. The first person to tell me what wood, chocolate, and potato have in common. We'll get a point on the scoreboard. 15 seconds on the clock. This is interesting. I'm gonna admit the wood one takes it. Done. Chips was the answer. Wood chips, chocolate chips, potato chips. Chips was the answer. I going back and I don't think anybody said it. I'm gonna double check in case I missed. What? Yeah, that's why. Wood chips are that was a good one. Yeah, I said the wood one might be a little tricky, especially for people around the world. In US, when you put like a big tree trunk or something into like a big tree grinder, it'll chop up the wood and it'll pretty much you'll have these little chips of wood, and that's what they use for like the base of many playgrounds around here. Yeah, and it's not quite mulch. It's thicker and bigger than mulch, which I remember as a kid running over wood chips was really silly. There were so many things, so many times you get splinters in your feet. It was actually a really goofy thing to keep at the bottom of a playground now that I think about it. Oh, it's the same in the UK? Yeah. But yeah, it was chips. Now that I think about it, I feel like they could have used almost anything else instead of splinters, instead of acres of splinters. I feel like they could have used like sand or something else instead of wood chips. Yeah, I remember wood chips. That was a fun game. Splinters do hurt. All right. Yeah, grass would have been fine too. Same in India. Yeah, I don't know why they chose wood chips. Moving on to another round of Tribon. We have about 2 minutes left. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Crab, candy, caramel. Apple is correct. That is a point for Retro. Josh, that is not a good answer. Start with C. That's way too broad. As you're not technically wrong. It's not. Oh, it's on here. Yeah, I noticed you, Rob, popped in. You, Rob, we got another show starting 1 hour and 6 minutes from now. Moving on to another round. Actually, we're going to play Password. The first person to correctly guess my one-word password without any typos will get a point on the scoreboard. What is it called when the sun starts to come up in the morning? It's opposite of dusk. So when the sun starts to come up, it's not sunrise. Sunset would be opposite. Sunset and sunrise are opposites, but what is the opposite of dusk? Be dawn. Oh yeah, try refreshing the stream. Stream does help some people. First person on my screen who said dawn would be Javier. We have time for one more round. Guys, I do try to stream 6 days a week. It might be 5 days this week just to maybe see if I need some rest because I've been sick for about a week. But so I might only do 5 days this week, but I do try to stream 6 days a week, multiple times a day. My favorite zombie movie when I was a lot younger was Dawn of the Dead. That was a good one. And there's a fun spin-off, Shaun of the Dead. I think those two were like, I think the two actors were from the UK. Not really big on movies though. Moving on to the last round of password, the first person to correctly guess. I loved Dawn of the Dead. First person to correctly guess my one-word password will get a point on the scoreboard. Typos are not allowed. Capitalization does not matter. These are made out of, a lot of people make these out of fields of corn stalks. This is a bunch of passageways with not a clear exit once you enter. Maze is correct. That is a point for Retro Frog. All right. That is time. I'm going to read the scores. That is officially the last question. Oh, sorry, Crazy Vlogs. Amongst the champions, Retro Frog, you have 26. Javier, 32. Simon D1, MNH 6, James M1, Richard Green 7, Count Rhythm 2. Now, amongst everyone else competing to enter the Hall of Champions, we have Connor as 1, Olive Coming as 3, It's Maddie as 2, Crazy Vlogs has 1, and now, ladies and gentlemen, to announce the new champion coming in first place with 14 points. I would like to announce Josh the Great. Congratulations. You are the new champion. Congratulations, Josh. Your name will be added to the Hall of Champions. Next time you play, you will be on this board red. I do have one more show tonight, an hour after this one ends. That was fun. Crazy Vlogs. What happens if a champion wins again? Actually, so the people who are in the Hall of Champions, they come back, they play for fun, or they try to beat the high score, or they just hang out. The reason they're in two different colors is for me and you guys to keep track. Everybody who's red is already in the Hall of Champions. So I add one person to the Hall of Champions every single stream, and I take the highest score of somebody who's not already in the Hall of Champions. So for you guys and for me, we keep track by the former champions are red. Everybody else competing is black. So I read the champion scores first at the end of the stream, and then I read the scores of everyone else who's competing to enter the Hall of Champions. So I take the highest score amongst everybody who's not already in the Hall of Champions, which would be Josh the Great this time with 14. How do I know if somebody's in the Hall? Do I just remember? For the most part, I remember most of the Hall of Champions, and then I remember almost all of the champions, because especially most of them come back. And then I remember a large amount of the Hall of Fame, but I have a document with everybody numbered that I can very, very quickly search. So for example, Connor, you were the 111th person to enter the Hall of Fame. I was just able to search that up real quick. I have systems to keep track of it. And Josh the Great, you're the 45th person to enter the Hall of Champions. Yes, Connor, I do remember you. Yeah, Connor, you've been in several times. Connor, you're one of the people that I remember because you've been in several times. Thank you, MNH. I'll see you soon, hopefully. All right, Richard, we'll see you the next one. Javi, I'll give you both of your numbers. You were in the top 10, I believe, for both. Javier, for the Hall of Champions, you're number 6. For the Hall of Fame, you're number 4. Javier, you're number 4 for the Hall of Fame. and then 6 for the Hall of Champions. Yes, Connor, I remember that. Hey, Jaden, we're at the end right now. Yeah, I remember that, Connor. You said you weren't going to leave until I said bye. But then I'm like, well, if I just never say bye, then I have a friend forever. That was fun. Jaden, we have another one starting 1 hour, 59 minutes from now. 59 minutes from now. Which I really need to take this time and make sure I get some food and rest and stuff. Because I've been kind of sick for a while. So I'm going to let you guys go. I'll be back in 59 minutes. 59 minutes for the third stream where one new person will enter. Congratulations again, Josh the Great, for entering the Hall of Champions. I actually have the Hall of Fame I have to update real quick as well. We have at least one new entry. Actually, I think it's Maddie. All right. Perfect. All right, I will. Bye to me, Shannon. I said exactly what you wanted me to. Yes, I'm still going to do the next stream in 57 minutes. Bye, guys. Bye, Connor. I'll see you guys in about 57 minutes, all right? Whoever wants to come back is more than welcome.